there's a famous story of the 3 men in a cave. Have you ever heard of that before? Okay, yeah, so let's just quickly review for the kids. There were 3 men that were inside of a cave, and a big boulder dropped at the opening of the cave, and they got trapped. Oh man, what do they do? So, they were Muslims, they believed in Allah, so they started to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They started to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, remind you, this is a chapter on sincerity, so look at the sincerity, okay? So, one person said, Oh Allah, I used to give milk to my parents every single night before I gave milk to my own family, my wife, my kids. I loved my parents, I respected my parents so much that I gave them milk every single night before even my family needed the milk. Okay, one night, he said, I came late from work, essentially. And I was about to give the milk to my parents, but they slept. They had gone to sleep. I didn't want to wake them up. I didn't want to wake up my parents because I didn't want to disturb them. I kept standing there, waiting for them to get up. And it was morning. And only then he was able to give the milk, and he kept standing with respect for his parents with the glass of milk or whatever he had. He said, Oh Allah, if you think that I did this only for your sake, if I did this action not for my sake, I did this for your sake, oh Allah, then help me through this. And then the rock moved a little bit. SubhanAllah, I mean that brings tears to my eyes. SubhanAllah, give us that kind of respect and honor and love for our parents that we can do.
Takbir! Takbir! MashaAllah.
Second person. This person was in love with the girl. And he wanted to have relationships with her. And they came so close to having a relationship. But the girl said, you have to marry me first. And he gave her a lot of money. He gave her a lot of money so he can lure her for that relationship. But she, at that moment, she said no. You have to marry me. He didn't want to marry her. And then he stopped himself, and he didn't even ask for the money. He left the money with her, lots of money. That girl was in dire need of money. Okay, so she kept the money, and he said, "Oh Allah, if I did this only for your sake, then help me through this." And the rock moved. Right? And then the third person said, "Oh Allah, I had a lot of employees. Okay? Well, I had a lot of employees, and I used to give them their wages. One of the employees, he did something, and he left without asking for his wage, without his salary. So what I did was I took that money and I invested it, and invested it into business, and then he made tons of money with that money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put so much barakah in the little salary of that employee that he got a lot of money. Okay. Later, that employee came back to this person and asked for his money. And this guy said, all of this is yours. And he said, oh Allah, if I did this for your sake, look at it here, right? Then help me do this. And the rock completely moved and they were free. SubhanAllah. This is the power of having the niyyah. And this is the power of you. It is completely fine. What we learn from here, when it is just between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no such thing as showing off. Show off to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Show off to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not showing people. This is munajat. This is a secret conversation between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a secret conversation. It's completely fine to show up and make dua. with the things that you can count that were good, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to recognize that you did something purely for His sake. And when you recognize it, it's not that you reminding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never forgets. But you recognizing that you did this for the sake of Allah, and Allah says, yes, you acknowledge it now. Yes, you did this for my sake. Now you did it for Allah. Okay. This was the last hadith in this chapter of sincerity. I don't want to really start the next chapter. The next chapter will be repentance, inshallah. We will cover that next week. I'm happy to take any questions.
This story was mentioned in the hadith.
Yeah. Rasulullah mentioned this.
This is the Bukhari?
Yes, Bukhari. Yeah. This is hadith number 2272 in Bukhari. Yeah. Yeah.
Did they mention of those Sahaba?
No, they weren't Sahaba. These were people that were long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know when. Some people say they were from the Jewish nation before thousands of years ago. Even before Rasulullah. Rasulullah is telling the story. It's a story of encouragement. A real story. Rasulullah doesn't tell fables. He tells real, authentic stories. Questions?